What up, Super Fun Force? Captain Games to here, and today I'm going to do a Beyblade lab video, and I'm going to start doing a series where I'm going to go through all the parts that I have and give you my general impressions and just some overall stats. That being said, today first let's start with the energy layers and the armors. Okay, first up, let's take a look here at Magma Efritor. Now this one obviously doesn't have the Efritor chip. This is the Rocktivore chip, but we still have the energy layer to look at, and here's the 6 armor. And what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to disassemble and show you kind of like the weight, right? Or I guess we're going to do the core, the layer, and the armor breakdown. So for example, I have here my scale. Okay, so let's weigh them just to see how things are incrementally. So 475. Okay, I'm going to start laying them out here. You guys can see I'll put an order of where they all stand. And of course, these are going to be the most, similar, but that's fine. 157. And we have 608. Okay. And I'm going to kind of move them around, and we're going to see how they all line up, just as a way to start building. So let me also quickly say, I won't talk too much about the slopes, because I think the slopes, they all seem to me generally the same. I know a lot of people say that some slopes are tighter, but I don't know how to tell, right? Like, if you look at it so close, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they all look about the same. It's all about, I think, just the battle, I think that Hasbro overall is trying to keep the slopes and the weights as, the same as possible, and then it comes down to the combo strategy and the launching. So that's my original starting analysis, as you can say, for the Quaddrive system and Hasbro in general. So let's take a look at the armors here. We're going to look at the actual Rocktivore. We'll get to see how these different colors vary. So 163. So this one's already a little bit heavier than the 6 armor, which is fine. 629. Let's double check this one again. I guess I should do the layers first. Okay, so 686. This is 0.2, so 0.2 more grams heavier. Now what I want to say really quick is, as I mentioned in my review, the Rocktivore energy layers are usually better in Hasbro, because since all the layers are hollowed out, they're going to be a lot closer in weight, because for some reason Takara Tomy likes to severely underpower the Rocktivore layers by making them just like this, like bare minimum, like hollowed out, and that's it. On the other layers from Takara Tomy, though, they definitely fill in the gaps for most of them, or they paste on another under layer here, so that way at least it's going to have more of a solid, heavier build to it. And the reason why I think this one actually is not as powerful as the Speedstorm Hypersphere ones is because Hasbro actually did not do the gimmick this time. So with the Cyclone one in Hasbro, they actually still left in the metal pins and the movement of the wings, and that actually made it a little bit heavier. Now, even though this one is still heavier than this could have been better if they left in the same gimmick here and they put the metal pins, But as you can see, it's still a little bit heavier. So, and then let's go ahead and check out the Balderoffs. And this will give you a nice way to start, building and looking at your combos. Obviously, I want to know your guys' philosophy when it comes to building Beyblades. Like, how do you find the strongest one? For me, I start to look at the layers, like the shapes, take the weight into consideration. And obviously, if it's heavier, it can hit harder. But sometimes you want something that's a little medium weight, so that way it can be more mobile if you want to go for knockouts. And even when you're building stamina defense, you think, okay, I want heavier. For stamina, that's, a plus and a minus, because if it's a little bit lighter, again, in the mid-range, you'll spin longer, right? Because if it's heavier, it's going to basically start to wear down faster and run out of stamina. If it's a little bit lighter, it can free spin, much longer. But then, of course, you run the risk of being knocked around. The defense is generally best being heavy, because it's going to take the hits and it won't get knocked out as much. And if it is able to counterattack and absorb the attacks of an attack type, then it'll still be able to defeat the attack type, right? And again, it just depends on your... And then if you try to build a balanced style, you try to obviously take a little bit of everything into consideration. All right, so we have 8 here. So this is going to be the heavy weight. Like I said, this is like a big 8 That's a gigantic jump from like 6 grams, 6.2 to 8. And then let's take a look at the Wrath. Okay, so this one, wow, 673. This one's even heavier than the Cyclone. Okay, and then we'll take a look here at Berserk. So Berserk comes in at 6.8, so it's actually a little bit lighter than Cyclone. Interesting. Let's take a look at the Vanish. And again, you know, quick tip, obviously, you know, for anyone that's new, that's just watching this for the first time, the way you want to disassemble your Quaddrives is you want to push the armor out first. And then once you remove the armor, then you can like twist the core, and then you're good to go. Wow, Vanish coming in at 725. That's pretty good. That's really, really good. Rashad Valtriac. Again, another fun one to get since you know you get the red color, red prize bay color. All right. $728. Wow, so it's about equal with the Vanish. Not bad. And then let's take a look at only 2 more. Basically, we're going to do the Roar and Zen. We'll get into the chips really quick. 6, 7, 8. Oh wow! So wait again. 6, 7. Hold on. 6, 7. Oh wow! It's actually on par with that one. That's very interesting. And then perhaps my favorite, got the Katana Muramasa, since this one is obviously a pretty cool exclusive. You know, I like the swords, you know, even though they're just, you know, painted silver or whatever. It still gives a cool, like, wing blade design. And it's really nice because you can see, like, the claws. And so, also going over the layers, sorry, I should have been talking about my strategy impressions over my battles. And let me do that right now as I weigh this. 6.6, so it's actually a little bit lighter because these guys were 6.7, right? Or 6.8, yeah, 6.7, 6.8. Okay, so here is the weight, and of course I have another Baldrov, but that's fine. So with this set, this is what you're looking like at the low end. Again, you have Ifritor here at about 610, 609, and then it goes up to like 620. And then this one was like 6.6, and you have like 6.8, 7.2, and 8. So the spread's about 6 to 8. And as I mentioned before, let me talk quickly about the layers. This is a good attack type. This is basically like a reverse Vanish, as you can see here. Pretty interesting, right? What I found surprising is that this is lighter, and this one is hollowed out. So basically, if you look here, I should do it like this. Yep, see how you can see that it's like basically the same style once you reverse, right? But again, this one is hollowed out, so I would have expected this to be one of the more lighter layers, but it's actually in the top end. It's like you have light, mid, and then the heavies, and then the 7 and 8. So it's definitely a heavy hitter, but again, in this case, more of like a defense stamina. Wow, yeah, interesting. Okay, so this one again, like I said, is good for attack. I think you want to build this with a nice strong core, like as far as like the center of gravity, and then you want it to have a good amount of movement. This one too, I just started using, and this is great for the blade attacks. Now, if you look here, the only weakness to Ifritor is like, or Magma, is like it's not as tall and thick, and you know, as far as the hitting points go, as you can see. So that's my only concern with this, but I'll still be experimenting with it, and it's great to have, since it's Ilya, the first, you know, kind of quote-unquote main female blader and exclusive to Hasbro. Although red is cool, there's so many red Beyblades, you know, and then I like to get the Rashad Valtriac because they're always blue. So I was like, this nice kind of like turquoise, greenish, light blue is really, really unique. So this was my pick. But maybe one day I'll get the red one. We'll see. And I still haven't gotten the Freetor chip, which is fine. I just like the layer. Okay, so this one, same thing, attack type. This one can go pretty, I think, pretty balanced though, because it's relatively like, even though this one is a little more circular and smaller, and this has a 2 hit points, I think the nice thing about this, well, I guess they can both go attack or balance. Nice thing about this is you want to maybe distribute weight to the outer points. So when we take a look at the armors, right, you might want to try to use an armor 2. I don't know if we have an armor 2 here, but like even this one, let me see, would this one line up well? Oh, a little bit. All right, we'll get into the armors in just a second. So that's this one. Now Cyclone, definitely like stamina defense. This one is super circular. You know, it has a little bit of a notch here for a counter attack, but I wouldn't obviously use this offensively. And maybe high mode. High mode might work better for this. I'll be testing that in high mode. And then over here, this one definitely attack type. I think you want to make this one pretty heavy duty, just for the fact that it can concentrate the attacks to the outside. I'm going to be building this one attack type for sure. This one also maybe a little bit of a balanced defense. I mean, it's interesting because it's small. So I want to see if maybe this one can actually be more like defense stamina. That's how I'll try to build this one, because again, it is somewhat circular. It's so jagged though, but I hope that will help with counter-attacking. And of course we have classic roar. Now this one usually is really good for defense, but even look at this one, almost seems a little bit thicker. So I'm going to take a look at these both for defense, stamina. This might even be better for defense, building this heavier, and this one might be better for stamina, lighter, even though it's a little bit wider. Is it? Okay. This one, you know, even though this one is thin, I think it has a nice jagged points here. I like how it's actually like claws holding the swords, as you can see. But again, I think just for the fact that it's so like almost like spread, it's not circular. It's like you have a little bit of an obtuse curve here or something. But this can, I think this will still slice and attack pretty well, and help it keep some you know, stamina without losing too much while hitting and attacking the other blade. This one definitely defense. It's heavy, you know. It also has the trademark spin steel power of Vanish, so that could also help it get last, you know, final spin and survivor finish. This is heavy, so let's go attack. Try to focus into the 3 blades as usual, right? And maybe find a balanced driver. You can either go mobile, or you can build one that's a little bit like stamina and a little bit mobile. Lastly, we have Baldarov. Now this one, to me, I felt like this should have been a really, really strong defense. Problem is, the good thing with it being heavy at the same time is that it can take hits, maybe dish out a little bit of hits, but it does seem to burn out of stamina faster because, again, it's the heaviest by far, right? We're going from 6, 6.2, 0.5, 7.2 to a whopping like 8, 8.1. So, again, this one actually might be difficult to build. You know, I mean, it's tall, it's heavy, it's pretty much filled in, has a great looking shape, it looks cool, so we'll see how this goes. All right, now that we have those in terms of the weight, I'll quickly put the cores out for us, and we'll be jumping into the armors and finishing up with the armors. Excuse me. So basically, we got 476. We got, I know, I was like armors. 475. I feel like these are all going to be very, very similar. So once again, I think, oh, there's a 5. I think what's going to happen with the cores is you're really just going to build it on your looks, like your styles, but we'll see. And again, even though we find some incremental, you know, small little bits of like 1 gram here, half a gram here, if you still want to build by weight, which is very important, it all either adds up or detracts. So if you want to build like the lightest Beyblade, you're still going to want to build like the lightest core, lightest armor, lightest drivers, and lightest energy layers. And if you want to go heavy, you still want to make sure you can control the weight a little bit. So we have here, again, this was a 4. Can you believe that? This is a 4.2 for this Vanish. That's interesting. And then these ones again were like, what, 476? And this is 5. All right, let's try the regular Rockdivore. It should be the same as the other one. All right, 473. So like almost like a little bit heavier. There's obviously going to be manufacturer variants on all parts. We know that. Okay, we're going to look at the Rashad. 4.5, 4.58, 4.57, 4.57. Babam Cobra. 4.68, so it's also kind of right around there. Baboom. Horn helmet 488. Wow, it's pretty close there. And then I think the last one is one more gold. We'll actually just take a look at this this gold one really quick as well. And it's coming in at also 5. Wow. Wowzers. Okay, there you guys go. That's what you want in terms of heaviness. Starting at, again, about like a nice little 4.2. And then we get up to here. Now we get like 4.6, 7. Interesting. That should have been almost the same. Oh, this is a 4.75. So this one's going to be a little bit higher as well. Yeah, these ones are about on par. I'm going to go through one more time. Yeah, this is the heavy ones, 4.9 to 5. Just about. Yeah, 5. Okay, so these ones here are the upper heavy ones. So going from about 4 to 5 grams, as you can see, guys. And again, these ones here were like upper 4s, right? 4.7. Yeah. And then this one more time. I just want to check. Yeah, 4.5. So these are just slightly on the lighter edge of things, you know? So there you guys go. That is the core setup. And again, I don't see too much of a difference with the slopes. I think they're all pretty much, in my testing and battling and playing, they all seem to either have the same amount of overall resistance or they get bursted every now and then. And I think that's part of the fun. I think Quaddrive still is actually Beyblade burst. I think Takara has a little bit too much gimmicky power now where the blades are so strong or built with so much resistance that they don't even burst really. So to me, that's part of the fun. I like playing Hasbro also because I like bursting, you know? It's fun, you know, it's exciting, and it's like, you know, a viable strategy still, right? To build attack types to burst and stuff like that. So again, you know, let me know if you guys really can see the difference. I mean, I don't know if you can get an instrument and like measure millimeters or like width or whatever. Obviously this is not super scientific, but I don't really seem to know why, you know, a slope is better than the other. I will say at this point, they're all the same, really. I mean, slight variances, but I think they all pretty much operate the same. So just pick your core based on weight and looks. And lastly, let's take a look at the armors. So let's start with the 6 over here, and then we'll be done. And thanks so much for guys for hanging out, man. This is super fun, and of course you guys will get a lot of information. Maybe even if you want to select, you know, only a few to buy, you'll know which parts to try to get. 1.58. But yeah, I'm curious to know. 1.63. What do you guys do when you guys build your collection? Do you like to, you know, just pick your characters from the anime? Do you like to pick the colors, the style, and the looks, or whatever? Let me know. 1.5 for the 2 armor. And then here's this one. 1.4. So these are the ones that are like going to be just barely like half, like barely like 0.1 or something like that, you know? Oh, that one's pretty heavy. And you can kind of tell again when you look at them, you know, which ones have probably the most like parts of them. Ooh, 159. I think that's it. I guess the rest of mine are doubles now, because I have 2 more 6s here, another one of these, which is that one. Oh, this is a 3? Maybe I haven't done the 3 yet. And 1.5. So this is again super minimal. 1.4 to 1.5 basically. All right, guys, there you go. Oh, did I not do this one? 4.86. So this is close to like here. All right, guys, that's all the parts. And then from this point on, like I said, I'm gonna build based on like when the energy layer is going to be maybe attack, balance, stamina, defense. And then I'll start to say like, okay, I'll still look at this and go, well, if I want a balanced, you know, distribution on weight, then maybe I'd pick like, you know, like 6. If I want something to be more attack type and concentrate the weight on these points, I'll pick 2, you know, and then maybe like these armors here for more like attack, I guess like 3 and 7, a little bit unbalanced to create just a little bit of movement. Again, I don't even know how much of a difference, as minuscule as it could be, but still it's fun to build it into theme, and who knows, maybe every little bit can add up and make a difference. Finally, I'm gonna pick the cores based on the looks and the weights. So if I want to build, you know, like heavier attacks first, I'll go for the heavier cores, you know, and kind of balance it out. Maybe make the lighter ones here with a heavier core, so that way it's like this can kind of be in the middleweight. I don't want to make it too light. And then maybe if I want to make a defense, or excuse me, like a stamina super lightweight, then I'll build it as light as possible. And maybe, you know, make the heavy Baldarov a little bit lighter. So, all right, there you guys go. That's my initial overview. I think Quaddrive is very fun. Again, you can enjoy the Pro Series Stadium. You can also use any of the previous buckets because the buckets don't really differ that much. And I think Hypersphere and Speedstorm will be fun as well. I'll do more battles on that and follow up with those. My next video, I'm gonna go ahead and do the forged discs and the drivers, and then after that I'll do a final video with some of my combos and some battles in this 3-part lab series. All right guys, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and you know, let's keep having some fun. In the meantime, don't forget, always keep your faith, say a prayer, spread that love, be positive, be thankful. We'll be coming back at you. Peace.